guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, September 25th. It is Monday, right? I got lost for a second. I got lost in the sauce. I know.
I can assure you it's a Monday.
Sam out on Mondays. Most importantly, though, September 25th, it is Mr. Simone's birthday. So happy birthday,
Oh,
Dad. Yeah.
Happy birthday from How About Them Celtics to you. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Hey,
there you go. My dad often listens to like just the start of these to get the ad, and then he goes about his day. So I hope you listen long enough to hear this, Dad, if you are listening.
Damn, that's kind of disrespectful. He doesn't even.
That's okay. He's a busy guy. He's got stuff going on. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, we're getting closer. I say it every time. We're inching closer and closer to Celtics basketball. About a month away still. We are getting there, and you guys are tuning in more and more because there's actual stuff to talk about. And I know we're very glad that there's actual stuff to talk about.
Is a week from today Media Day?
Yes, a week from today is Media Day. October 2nd is Media Day. Getting real close to Media Day. We'll probably be able to record right after Media Day for a post-Media Day pod, actually, which would be perfect.
Is that an emergency pod or is that a Tuesday?
Well, it's just going to be a Tuesday because it's Monday is Media Day, and then it'll go up on the Tuesday. So you guys get the latest stuff from Media Day. We are keeping it ready with basketball news, Celtics news, all the good stuff. Sam and I played basketball last night for our intro. Did. I don't know if you noticed, Sam, I didn't make a single shot. I did not score the entire night.
Yeah, you don't like the ceiling.
I know it's going to be on the Rattlers later. Spoiler alert. I'll complain about it then, but it was not my hottest. Oh, it is. So don't you worry. It's on there.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I see it.
Choice words for it. But played basketball last night. It was fine. I played like crap, but I'll put it on the Rattlers later. But getting into Celtic stuff.
Confirm I can dunk.
Sam can dunk. Yes, I did see it. I did
like a couple times in a row.
And Sam can confirm that I can also dunk, right?
Yes. We're gonna do a dunk contest video, actually.
Wait. Maybe not. Maybe Sam can dunk, and I'll retract my statement and plead the fifth. Anyways, Celtics.
We'll do one of those edits where you can't see the ground; you can only see the hoop. So like the hoop's 5 feet.
No, I'll do the TikTok where it's like I jump, and when I jump, it's the tall hoop, but then it quickly cuts to a small hoop while dunking small, and then it goes back to the big one. Yeah. We'll edit. Don't you guys worry. You'll see me dunk eventually. Anyways, Boston Celtics kicking off with Dame Lillard saga. It has reached Boston once again, which is just great. It's just great. Exactly.
Is this like when like a family member gets COVID? Like the virus has reached. It's hit home.
Oh man, it gets struck. But the reason we're talking about Dame in the context of Boston is Vegas odds currently have the Celtics as the top betting destination, betting favorite outside of the Heat if Dame doesn't end up in Miami, which is of note because as Sam put it on here, and I agree, the Vegas part is just weird because they always know something. Like they don't just make odds for no reason. Correct. Right? Like they're not trying to get stuff out there.
They're not trying to lose money.
Exactly. So either they know something or they just believe that that's the most likely, or it's just odd. It's just a weird thing to see the Celtics up there. We can talk about it, the context of it, how a deal would get done. We can go over all the semantics, but the fact that Vegas has the Celtics as the betting favorites, and the title of this pod will be Celtics listed, among favorites to land Dame, because that they quite literally are.
Yeah.
They are the betting favorites outside of the Heat. And it's not clickbait. And that's why it's weird, because I don't think anybody you ask around, Celtics media, Celtics fans, Celtics, you can ask a player outside maybe Tatum, who's friends with him. Like, it just doesn't seem like there's a super realistic pathway to get him to Boston, but then Vegas is out here putting him as a favorite. It's a very weird thing, and it came out today, so we're talking about it.
Yeah, so I have this on the sheet, and the reason why I think that this is a thing is solely because of what the Celtics have to offer. Like, if you look at the pieces that may be available for the Celtics, the draft picks they have, because the Celtics are a rare, good team that has all their picks. They can offer picks. They can offer guys that aren't Tatum or Brown or Porzingis. And realistically, they could give the Blazers something worth giving up Dame for. Where when you look at other teams like Miami, that's not really the case. Otherwise, Dame would already be there. If Miami was willing to part ways with legitimate assets, then Portland would pull the trigger. It's simple as that. So the Celtics are high up on this odds or on the odd rankings, whatever, because Vegas doesn't want to lose money just because they have a great deal of assets that they could send their way. I mean, in the Celtics blog chat today, it was like all discussed, like what would it be? And I think this is all coming out at a pretty interesting time. And just so I don't step on another segment, which I will not, this comes at an interesting time because of Brogdon. We've had all this weird Brogdon stuff coming out over the last week of like Washburn speculating he's unhappy and nobody's heard from him. Adam Kaufman came out and said he's heard that he's not necessarily being dangled in trade talks, but he is kind of on the block. Like they're willing to part ways with Brogdon. And the two of us have had discussions on the pod, like, what are you giving up Brogdon for? Well, if you're giving up Brogdon, you don't have the guard depth anymore to screw around and try and bring in wing pieces. Not that you need them, but anything that's not a guard, because Marcus Smart isn't on the team anymore. Mm-hmm. So I suppose if you're going to give up Brogdon, you might as well go get Dame. Right? I mean, that's not a bad return, even though the contract sucks, and I stand by he's going to be a negative asset by the end of it. You would have a superstar guard, two superstar wings, and Porzingis, who's a borderline all-star.
Yeah.
Would it be great for ball distribution? Maybe not. Maybe you teach them to play like the 86 Celtics, right? You bring in all the fellas and you say, look, two guys on the low block, move the ball around, and everybody cut.
See, I think that's the biggest question mark for me, because it would either turn into the Warriors or the Brooklyn Nets, because those are the best two examples I can think of. The Nets and the Nets weren't like,
it's a good call
to give the Nets some
or the
respect,
18-19 Celtics.
Sure. But to give the Nets some respect,
one sec.
Yeah.
Before anybody gets upset in the comments, they would not only give up Brogdon in a trade. Okay, go on.
Yes, and we'll go over that in a second.
Yes. Because I was like, well, you trade Brogdon, get Dame. No, yes, they would have to give up other stuff.
The package would probably be, if you want to do the full package quick, it would be, this is what we were discussing in the Celtics blog chat: Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams, Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett, Sam Hauser. And like that would probably get you around there salary wise. So it would gut some depth. Absolutely. But as far as the Nets Warriors thing, like the Nets, and again, to give them the respect, they went on a run and people got hurt. And they could have won that 1 year where KD's foot was on the line. Kyrie got hurt. Like there's all these factors. But at the end of the day, the Nets super team didn't work. There was 3 ball dominant stars that couldn't put it together. The Warriors had 2 ball dominant guys, and Klay Thompson, who needs his touches, and Draymond Green, who helps run the offense, and they put their egos aside and they won championships together. You can even say the same thing about the Heat, right? It didn't work for the first year. Then they found a way to make it work, and then they won 2 titles, right? So it's just a matter of, would Dame, the Jays, and Porzingis be able to put that aside to win titles? And maybe it's a year of growth and they figure it out like the Heat did and they get there eventually. But like that's what would have to happen. And as far as the negative asset, I'm not going to sit here and say Dame's going to be great for the rest of his career. I will say, if there's ever a place for Dame to age gracefully, it's on a team where he can be the point guard and not have to be Dame, right? Like by the time Dame is 34, 35, Tatum's going to be, 28, like prime of his career. He's going to be handling the scoring. Dame wouldn't have to worry about scoring. Exactly. Dame wouldn't have to worry about scoring 30 a night, right? Derek White would still, knock on wood, be on the team, be able to run the point or help out the point guard position. Jaylen Brown, KP, like the whole core would still be there. And if the Celtics gave up this package for Dame, which again would be, I think in the Celtics blog chat, it landed on something like Brogdon, Robert Williams, Pritchard, Hauser, Cornett, and also all the picks, like as many picks as it'll take to get it done. Like, I'm not saying all the picks, but like in the context of this trade, effectively a lot of draft picks. We'll leave it at that. Like several first round picks, right? Which whatever. Well, not whatever, but like if you're getting Dame, you're going to have to give up picks. Whatever is just, if you're going to trade for a superstar, that's just what it takes. That would leave the Celtics with a starting lineup probably of Dame, the Jays, Porzingis, Horford, with White as the 6th man. And then the depth after that is where it starts to get shaky, because then you're left with Svi Mykhailiuk, Lamar Stevens, Jordan Walsh, O'Shea Brissett, which in fairness, like, it's probably a good reason that Brad did get all these guys, right? Like, they'd still have a great guard rotation with Dame and with Derek White. Lamar Stevens is very, highly spoken about by Cavs fans and all these people, like, as an impact player off the bench. Svi Mykhailiuk had a great run with the Hornets last year in a role and could fill in a bench role. You'd need to address the big man spot because you'd only have Porzingis and Al Horford, but then you also have Neemias Queta. Like, so there have the
Cornette.
things that have happened. What'd you say?
Cornette.
No, he would probably
he's
be in
in
the
the trade.
package. Yeah, I think he'd be in
Rip.
the package. But
That'd be really sad, actually.
yeah, then you'd have Brissett too. But like, there would be enough depth to form like a solid enough bench, and then Brad could also either
Would be
make more
Dwight.
deals or sign some people. Fareed, you mean Kenneth
He wants
Fareed?
Kenneth Fareed.
Yeah, push the agenda. But if the Blazers were interested in that and willing to accept that package, as much as I wouldn't like to see the Celtics lose Rob, I would probably be okay with it because you'd get 2 or 3 years of prime Dame, who, let's not forget, Damian Lillard is a top 5 point guard in the, excuse me, in the NBA when he's healthy. Like, Damian Lillard is that guy. As much as our opinions have soured on Dame because of the way this whole thing has come down and the way he's handled it and all the stuff in the media, Damian Lillard is a beast on the court, right? He has won the Blazers playoff series by himself. He has won them games by himself. He dropped 71 points in a game last season, like blah, 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 all this stuff. Like, Dame is a damn good player. He's not without his flaws. He's not the greatest defender, right? He's not great. He also in his defense hasn't had the best defensive teams around him, right? Like, hasn't really been given that chance. And the best defensive team he probably had around him went to the conference finals. Like, he's taken a team to the conference finals, and Enes Kanter was in their center rotation. So props to Dame for doing that. Like, if you can get Damian Lillard without giving up Jaylen Brown, I think you have to do it, in my opinion.
What about Porzingis?
Would I trade Porzingis for him?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I wouldn't. I think
if you let's just say don't touch the big three.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you would do it. And as much as this is semantics, and I would still probably do it either way, I'd rather keep Horford than Rob. And as crazy as that sounds, in my opinion.
I kind of get why. I mean, versatility for starters.
Leadership.
I think the
contracts,
weird Brogdon saga has maybe moved the needle a bit for me, where if I'm going to have a headache because of a point guard on my team, I guess I'd rather it be Dame than Malcolm Brogdon, right? That's where you have to start. I do think if Dame was traded to the Celtics, he would probably be a pain in the ass about it. And I've watched the Celtics have a super team-esque season derailed by a annoying point guard before. I prefer not to do it again. But there is something to be said about adding him to this roster. Interestingly enough, I kind of think his 3-point range would be something to kind of boost them a bit.
He might be he's probably a top 5 3-point shooter of all time.
I mean, seriously, people talk about Dame where they believe if you swapped him and Steph Curry, the Warriors would be just as successful. Now, I'm not trying to tell you those people are right or those people are wrong, but that is a legitimate discussion that people have. And I'm not on this pod saying it's crazy for them to feel that way. They have very similar skill sets. Dame has great range. He's a great shooter. I believe he's won the 3-point contest. Not that that really matters, but he could be a great addition to a Celtics team. And as much as I hate the idea of giving up all these picks, especially with the CBA coming in, grabbing everyone by the balls and being like, you can't pay guys, you're still going to have Tatum and Brown in the future. So your teams should be pretty serviceable where those picks aren't overly valuable, where you're not going to be the Brooklyn Nets after you trade away all your draft picks. That's the goal. You don't want that to happen to you. And if you believe you can bring in Dame and that won't happen, I guess go ahead and do it. The last thing I'll say on this is if they were going to do this, then they really should have done it before free agency, because you could have got more help for cheap. Guys would have been like, oh yeah, I'll go play for the Celtics.
I agree. I do wonder if a part of that is before free agency, they could have traded Jaylen, and that's all Blazers would have asked for. And now they'd be like, oh, we can't trade Jaylen anymore, but we could still, you know what I'm saying? Like, That was probably
Now
part of
they
the
maybe don't
negotiations.
feel like they're getting stiffed.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't give up Jaylen for Dame. I wouldn't give up Porzingis for Dame. I wouldn't give up Tatum for Dame, obviously. But if you can keep, if you can keep those three and get Damian Lillard, I think the Celtics have to do it because that's the best team in the NBA on paper, right? And that's the important part. On paper is what it all is about because you have to do it. But I mean, that's a really good team. And I mean, the other thing you have to worry about, like you said, you can't do the trade if Dame has no interest in being here because then that ruins everything. So
what number does Dame wear if he gets traded to the Celtics?
Oof.
It's important. 8?
Yeah.
No, that's Porzingis.
Moron.
Let's see.
That's a tough one.
Does he go with 11 and try and revive the legacy of that number?
No, you can't wear 11. I don't think he would do that. Can't wear 00. Yeah. Can't wear 0. Yeah. 4? You go 4? Maybe 4.
I feel like 4 is a weird fit on him. I don't know. This is a tough question.
What do you wear in high school?
We have no.
You wore
no actual indication.
Okay, well, can't wear 1. Yeah, I have no idea what you would wear. 12? Somebody wore 12? Am I stupid? Somebody wears 12, right?
O'Shea Brissett's got it.
100%.
He was 1 in college. I think you just said that.
In high school,
wear that.
No, he cannot. 9? Who wears 9?
Derek White is your guy.
I'm bad at numbers. Okay, I don't know numbers.
Have some respect.
I don't know numbers. I'm just looking at numbers that aren't retired.
You should wear like some number that's like stupid, like 61.
You should
or
do
71. That one time he scored 71 points. He can be like Schroeder.
True. He should take 20 from JD Davison and revive Ray Allen's number. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
Remember when everyone wanted them to retire Ray Allen's number all of a sudden when he showed up to the KG thing?
Yeah, you were out.
They were like, you have to do it. And there's been no movement on that.
No, not at all.
Respect to Wick. People don't forget.
No, but if they can get him without giving up Jaylen Brown or KP, I would do it. But that is all.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. It absolutely is. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
All right. Next thing, let's check in with
segment.
our emails. Let's go to the emails. This is slowly becoming my favorite part of the pod. I enjoy it. If you have an email or have a thought you would like to relay to us that you'd like us to, to read on the pod, please do. Sam, did you look at the email today?
I did not.
Perfect. Don't
Not
look.
yet.
All right. Sam, don't look at the screen if you can help it, or open a different tab, because RJ sent us Celtics uniform number trivia questions.
Oh, okay.
You're going to answer the trivia questions.
It's funny that this is what it is
I'm
after our recent conversation.
After I just butchered a bunch of numbers. Here's one way to salt away. Perfect. Here's one way to salt away for a slow news day. Some uniform number trivia questions. A little bit of filler as we come into the last week or so before training camp opens. Question 1, Sam, you ready? Who was the first Celtics player to wear a uniform number in the 50s or higher? It's in 50 to 59 or higher, like any number 50 and up. And what year was it, if you want to take that step?
What year?
Oh, yeah, just fine. Start with the fucking player. Come on. It's a tough one. These are tough questions. Shout out RJ.
Is it Mel Counts?
It is not.
Shit.
It is not. What number did he wear? I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know why I think he's in that.
Mel Counts
50s.
Wore number 11 for the Celtics.
11. Okay. Well, I don't know. It's a good question.
It is Norm Cook who wore number 52 in the 76-77 season. Talk about getting in your
This is
bag.
like Ben Vallis
level
of question.
Norm Cook, who played for the Celtics one season, 25 games, and wore number 52. He reached in the bag and pulled it out. Thank you, RJ. Number 2, you ready?
Us doing Celtics Jeopardy.
You making Celtics Jeopardy. I'm not taking responsibility for those questions.
That was my baby. I worked on that for a while.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Which number range has the most unassigned number, i.e., never worn in a Celtics history? The 30s, the 40s, or 50s? Like the most unassigned number, like the least numbers worn.
The least numbers worn, or least amount of players that have worn those numbers.
It just says which number range has the most unassigned number.
Okay, well,
never worn.
So I don't think. Let's go through this. 30 has been worn. 31's retired. 32's retired. 33's retired. 34's retired. 35's retired. 36 has been worn. 37 has been worn. 38 has been worn. I don't know about 39. 40 has been worn. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. 46 has been worn. Not sure about 47 or 48 or 49. 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's the 50s.
So he gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers that have never been assigned.
Okay.
And you just nailed all of them except 56 and 7 have been worn. But you were correct. 47, 48, 49, 39, and 58 and 59 have not been worn. So effectively you nailed all of the questions.
Nice.
He wrote, prior to the 22-23 season, both the 40s and 50s were tied with 3 unused numbers apiece. But who claimed a number in the 50s this past season? Who
Mike
ruined it for the
Muscala.
50s?
And I'm really mad at myself that I did not know that.
Yep. Yes, he did.
I
That
literally
was
was like, oh yeah, dude, 56, 57, 58, 59. I don't think anyone's worn those. Mike Muscala, 57.
No, you
literally
got
2
those,
months
though.
ago.
That was a good answer. You were nailing them all. So props. All right, ready? Next one.
Yep.
There's 2 more questions. There are 3 numbers lower than 50 that have worn by only one Celtic. Can you name the players? And the hint is that they're all centers.
They're all centers. Okay, well that means 37 is off the list.
Who's 37?
All right. 3 numbers under 50 that have only been worn once. Correct?
Yes, 3 numbers under 50 that have only been worn by a single player.
38, and it's Favarani.
Yep.
Yes?
Yeah, Favarani is 38, correct.
Okay. 46, Baines.
Correct.
This is like way in the back pocket as like a trick question, but I think Parrish at 00. I don't know if there's another 0.
Yes. Yeah. Good answer. 37. Why did you want to go with that?
Semi Ojeleye. I just don't think it's that common. But then
who is the other one?
I don't know who the other one was, but I know
do.
Semi wasn't a center.
You do know who the other person is who wore 37 because I just looked it up.
Oh, it's Matt Ryan.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
Dude, I'm
good.
on fire, dude.
Yeah, I was really impressed you got that. I wonder how many have only been worn by 2 players. Oh, a lot of them. Okay, never mind.
36. 12's been worn by everybody.
Yeah, a lot of people wore 12.
I feel like 6 is a sleeper. Like, I don't know how many people got to it before Bill.
5.
I
5
don't know.
players have worn 6.
Move on.
We'll move on. 12 is the most worn number, though. You are correct.
All right. That's a fact.
Last question. 37 different Hall of Famers have played some part of their career with the Boston Celtics. What Celtics uniform number has graced the back of the most Hall of Famers?
Most Hall of Famers?
It's a tie between 3 different numbers. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Let me go through this. It's probably not any of the retired ones. Yeah, I don't think so. So the first one that comes to mind is 12 because everyone's worn that. Dominique has worn it. Other Hall of Famers that have worn it, can't tell you off the top of my head. Man, this sucks. Okay, I want to say 20.
If you're right or wrong, or do you want to?
Ray Allen and Gary Payton have worn 20. That's at least 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
is that one of them?
20 is correct. 12 is not.
12 is not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. There's 3.
There are 3. Yeah, that have. Yeah, all 3.
Okay.
I can give you another hint whenever you're ready because I have a good hint.
You have a good hint?
Yeah.
Damn. All right, go ahead.
The last 2 are both currently assigned to the current.
Currently assigned. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Damn. That doesn't really help.
This is a really good question. That's why it's a good hint because there's
Yeah.
not
I'm just trying to think. Currently
These are
assigned.
really good questions. Shout out RJ. This is great. I appreciate you. Like I said, RJ.
I don't want to be silent, but I'm trying to think.
That's why I'm filibustering. I'm letting you think.
I want to. If I had like a gun to my head and I had to guess, I would guess 11.
Yeah,
but I cannot name the people.
You want me to tell you the people? 11's correct.
Who is it?
Chuck Cooper, Charlie Scott, Bob McAdoo.
Okay, McAdoo. That tracks.
Yep. Last one is also tough. It is worn by a current Celtics big. I'll narrow it down.
Big?
I'll let you get it.
There's 42, 44. I think it's 44.
Correct. Yeah, 44.
Is
Paul
Ainge in the Hall of Fame?
No. Paul Westphal, Dave Bing, Pete Maravich. They're Hall of Famers. Also,
all players that are tremendous, just not for the Celtics.
Yeah. Tidbit from RJ Johnson. Side note, Basketball Reference shows Tommy Heinsohn wearing 20 for some part of the 1960 season, but I'm not finding an
I remember that
as to what happened, but it won't count as a tiebreaker because of that. Do you know what happened? Do you know why?
I don't know what happened, but I do remember when I was putting Celtics Jeopardy together, stumbling upon that. I think I almost made that a question. Like, what other number did Tommy wear? Cedric Maxwell also wore 30 at some point. You go on Basketball Reference.
I wonder why you wore number 12. If I Google it, why did why did Tommy Heinsohn wear number 20? It was, right?
Yes.
Huh.
Oh, does Tommy count then for that? The Hall of Fame one?
No, he didn't count it because of that, because there couldn't be a. Yeah, I don't know.
Great questions.
That's what I'm saying. All but 2 Celtics championship squads included a number 20 in the team, and Tommy Heinsohn briefly wore the number 20 during the 1960 season before switching back. Doesn't say why though. Like, it doesn't say. Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea. We'd have to ask somebody like with more in-depth knowledge of the situation.
Random like me thought that has nothing to do with any of this. I think I'm getting sick and I'm amped. You know what I mean?
Why are you excited to be sick? No, I don't know what you mean.
I like being sick, like for a day. For a day. I like being sick for a day because I can lay in bed, not do a thing, and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, I guess fair enough. I respect it, kind of.
It's like your like body's like, you need a day off, buddy, and you just have to sit there. And you're like, all right, yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right. Moving on from that, you get a little tangent.
That or I'm just cold. Like, it also is like fall. So like, you know, when like you're a kid, like it gets colder out, you get sick. Like, it's the time of year. It comes with it.
It is getting colder out. But we are going to talk about Jaylen Brown, more specifically Jaylen Brown as a playmaker. I wrote an article for Celtics blog doing a little bit of a deep dive, and it was titled, "Can Jaylen Brown become a reliable playmaker?" Celtics
sure, people were really civil in the comments.
Yeah, people hated it. Did you read the comments?
I didn't read them, but I can just.
They got so mad. They were like, "Can Celtics blog stop talking about this? This guy's talked about so much. He doesn't need to do it." I'm like,
because it's a story. It's September. Give us a break.
They're mad. I wrote, the Celtics star can score, but his next evolution will be harnessing that talent and creating for others. And I agree with that. Basically, I went over some of the things I've noticed, or I looked through some of his, film, and I looked at some of his turnovers. I looked at some of his mid-range shots, his shots at the rim, and saw how much space he created and where he could have improved. And so we can look at the clips here. I will obviously explain it for audio listeners, but hopefully, actually, I might have to put the film on for this. We're gonna get copyright struck, but regardless, or maybe I'll just leave it in for the pod and we just won't make money off this video. Whatever, you guys get a free.
I don't know. You have a banger title. Copyright that shit.
It's true.
Yeah. All
right, you guys can blame Sam for it then. So here is. Oh, can I turn sound off? Let's see. No. Mute site. Perfect. No sound.
Oh.
So this is one of the first ones. And my point was Brown averaged 4.3 pick and roll possessions last year, which was 3rd on the Celtics. I feel like he should be right behind Tatum. Like, Jaylen Brown is such a good scorer. Like, he should be running a lot of pick and roll. And this was one of the things I noticed first. I noted it was a bit awkward. Like, Derek White goes up to set the screen at the wing. He doesn't set a full screen. He slips the screen and goes to the rim.
I can still hear the clip, by the way.
a brush screen. You can hear it? Okay, we'll mute it here then. A brush screen, and he drives to the rim. This is the problem. The problem isn't, he made a difficult pass to Derek White in the paint. He maybe could have threaded this pass through, but that's a tough pass. He could have kicked it out to Al Horford. That's also not the problem. The problem is Jaylen Brown left his feet. And so because he left his feet, he was forced to make a decision. And as soon as he left his feet, the Bulls defense can just spread out because he can't go anywhere anymore. Like nobody has to guard Jaylen Brown once he leaves his feet. And that's a big problem. That was a really big problem with Tatum a couple years ago. And I feel like he's fixed it by just keeping a pivot foot on the ground. But this possession ends with Jaylen Brown throwing it to no one. He throws it to DeMar DeRozan in the middle of nowhere.
I was at this game.
And he turns the ball over. Really?
Our good friend Timmy G. He treated me to a ticket that day. It was a great day.
There you go. But yeah, turnover, obviously.
You were at this game as media.
Oh, you're right.
This is just me having a memory. Like, hey, look at me, guys. I remember stuff.
But he turns the ball over. And I talked about the real issue, Brown's decision to leave his feet before he made a read. Just taking an extra beat there and just taking a second to make his decision. This next one is me talking about Jaylen Brown's first step in the pick and roll. Can you hear this as well? Is this not muted? I don't know what you can hear, what you can't hear.
Yeah, I can hear that. I was at this game too.
I don't know why you can hear it. I tried to mute
you were at this game.
You might just have to hear it. Sam, I was at a lot of games.
Yeah, but like this was like when you first started going to games.
Gotcha. Okay. This is the problem I saw on this one. And again, watch on YouTube if you want to see the clip. I'll try my best to describe it. Jaylen Brown gets a screen from Derek White. Jaylen Brown got a lot of screens from guards. So did Tatum. Like the guards spent a lot of time screening last year, which is interesting.
They should set screens for each other.
Yeah,
I'd like to see more of that.
I agree with you. But on this screen, Derek White again slips it, goes to the three-point line. Sam Hauser sets the secondary screen, brings Christian Brown, and I believe this is Michael Porter Jr. into the action. But Jaylen Brown, rather than stepping out to the three-point line, which I'm not saying you should take a three before you start yelling at me, because I can just feel your brain working, saying, "Oh, you're driving." Okay. He takes a step in, and because he took a step in, Michael Porter Jr. jumps him. Christian Brown is able to get back into play, and Jaylen Brown turns it over. All Jaylen Brown had to do on this possession is take a step out to the wing. He's a wide open wing right here. He would have a one-on-one with Michael Porter Jr., who, while he's tall, is not the best defender in the world. And at that point, depending on what Christian Brown does, if they switch, again, it's a one-on-one with Michael Porter Jr. If Christian Brown tries to get back in on the play, he has Sam Hauser at the three-point line and Derek White at the wing on the wing as well, with Bruce Brown trying to guard both of them. Instead, he drives into traffic. And if I had to guess, the Nuggets scouting report is probably like, Jaylen Brown likes to drive and get to the mid-range, cut him off. And he fell right into their scouting report. And in the end, he turns the ball over by trying to dribble between his legs and just running into two Nuggets defenders. And the Celtics scrap for the ball and eventually get something back. But just taking a step, again, it's just about taking an extra beat to figure out the play and then making a play from there. So these first two things, especially in the pick and roll, is just taking an extra second to figure out what you want to do, pausing. Like you see it with like Chris Paul and all the good point guards, Darius Garland. They take a second and then they get into their action, right? They take that like stop beat and they get into it. Tyus Jones did it a lot last year where he would hold his dribble. He'd come off the pick and roll, but he'd bounce the ball. And so he could get back into dribble or he could just go up with a shot. So just taking an extra second when you get out of that action.
Make the defense show you something.
Exactly. This next part is me looking at Jaylen Brown's mid-range game. And I'm going to try to get it so I can mute it, but I can't get it immediately. Okay. Horford sets the screen for Brown. I can't mute it immediately, so you're going to hear some clips. I can't hear it, but you can.
It's okay.
Watch as soon as Brown drives how much attention he gets. And there are a few clips I have at this. So Al Horford sets Jaylen Brown a screen. He sets him another one. Jaylen Brown gets into the paint. Nobody covers Al Horford. Al Horford, 44% three-point shooter, top of the key, by himself, alone, bare naked. Jaylen Brown gets to his mid-range spot, which he's money from. I'm not saying stop shooting mid-range shots, but Zach LaVine is sinking in from the corner where Marcus Smart is. Ayo Dosunmu is still guarding Jaylen Brown, who is his defender, and Nikola Vucevic is leaking into the paint to cover Jaylen Brown as well in the drive. Look at this right here. This is the freeze frame. Jaylen Brown has created so much space for his teammates on the floor that he has 3 defenders guarding him. But instead of kicking it out, which if you're on YouTube, you can clearly see, he can see Horford here. What happens is he drives into the paint and throws the ball away and just loses it. Like, this is
Looks
the point
like,
where Jaylen Brown needs to improve.
Somebody I
here.
know.
Who is this? Me? Is this me?
No, not you.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait. Oh, okay. I understand. Ball. I was like, wait. I was like, you're watching me? What are we doing?
This is a couple times.
Yeah. This is the exact point where I think Jaylen Brown needs to improve the most. He has a wide open Horford. Sure, yeah.
With the wide open Horford, right? Like that's a great option. But do you think the Celtics in general, when something like this happens, the corner guy collapses, should corner 3-point shooter cut baseline?
I think that's also an option. I think if Smart cuts the baseline here, yes. I'm not convinced Brown could make that read either. And again, I think it's just about him being more aware of his surroundings. I think Al Horford is the easiest read and most obvious read.
Correct.
I think if you have the right player and the right playmaker in that spot, it would be smart, especially considering, like, not to pick on Zach LaVine, even though you do it every time. Zach LaVine has not looked at Marcus Smart the entire possession. Right there, that's the last time he looks at him. The next 3 seconds of the play, when Jaylen Brown is doing his drive, doesn't even look at him, right? Marcus Smart could absolutely cut there, but I think if it was Marcus in the spot of Jaylen Brown or Tatum in the spot of Jaylen Brown or even Al Horford in the spot of Jaylen Brown, all of whom are probably better passers, then he could get it. But I think Jaylen Brown wouldn't necessarily make that read. But I do think they should cut more as a team.
I was just curious what you think with the analytical standpoint of that.
No, I
would
think,
you rather him stay in the 3?
No. Layups are always good. If you can get a cutoff, I do think it's also worrisome. If Marcus Smart's cuts, he's also bringing his defender to the paint. So if Jaylen Brown is going to commit to the drive, he's going to face another body in the paint at that point.
Yep.
So I think that's the thing. But the next thing, this is just another one where if Jaylen Brown kept his head up and kept looking, he would have an easy read, right? So Jaylen Brown gets the ball at the wing here, or top of the key. He drives. Kyle Lowry is beat. Kyle Lowry does not have a chance to stay in front of Jaylen Brown here because of their rotations, right?
And he's fat. That's also part of it.
Absolutely.
He's not in the best shape. Heat culture, though.
Sure. This isn't the easiest read in the world, right? Jaylen Brown, and again, this is just in another case, and I think a lot of this happens, just taking an extra beat. You already beat Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry has no chance to get in on this play, right? Jaylen Brown gets into the paint. Marcus Smart moves back to the dunker spot. Caleb Martin comes over. And in Caleb Martin's defense, this is a good defensive play. He jumped in there to draw a charge. All that has to happen here is you take a dribble. Instead of picking it up right away, you take an extra dribble. And then at that point, you can easily get around Caleb Martin or just dump the ball off to Marcus Smart for a layup, right? And so he gets caught in this space of he commits to the drive so early that he has no choice but to take it. And even if he still finds the pass, which he probably should have at this point, he still would have gotten the charge. So again, it's just about taking an extra beat and kicking the ball to Smart, who's at this point wide open because Caleb Martin is forced to defend one or the other, and he obviously is going to choose Jaylen Brown.
Maybe is this a zone for Miami? It's tough because it's the Heat, and I'm like forced to question that.
Yeah, it is a zone. I think it is a zone. See, because
so that also makes it a bit tricky, but
it doesn't make it harder. Yeah.
No, actually, it might be man because
because Bam doesn't follow. Bam doesn't follow.
Okay. Yes.
Jaylen to the 3-point line here. So
I see.
This wasn't the easiest read. This is probably the most, not complex, but like this is probably the hardest read Jaylen had to make of the clips I found. But again, I just think it's about slowing down a little bit. So that's what I had there.
He gave Caleb Martin a nice bump. How many more clips are there?
3 more. These are nothing. No, these are nothing clips. These are examples of him making good passes. Which
so don't focus on those.
No,
this is a classic. Jack hates Jaylen Brown. Yeah,
I literally put them in the article for a reason. We can watch them. You know what? Now we're gonna watch them. No,
I don't want to watch them.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Or just back down one of them and then call it a day.
Back down. All right. So this next one again in transition. Maybe not the easiest read, but on the opposite end, Jaylen Brown always he either goes too fast or goes too slow, if that makes sense. Like he's always a beat too fast on making a decision or he's a beat too slow and he just has to find the sweet spot and he's capable of it. But this possession, watch, Jaylen Brown gets down the court. It's a 4v4, but the Celtics space the floor super well because Bam and Max Strus are already sinking back and Jimmy Butler is already on Jaylen Brown, right? Al Horford is going to be open on the wing here. Jimmy does I give him credit. Jimmy Butler does a great job of cutting off the passing lane. But Jaylen Brown has an opening to make the pass, right? Before Caleb Martin gets there, because Caleb Martin is trailing. Jaylen Brown has plenty of passes he can make here. The problem isn't that he missed these passes because they're not the easiest ones, right? Jimmy Butler does a good job of cutting it off long enough. Gabe Vincent is cutting off Marcus Smart's passing lane if he were to cut. So the Heat do a good job defending this. The problem is Jaylen Brown picks up the basketball. he starts his drive. Jaylen Brown picks up the ball. And at this point, watch every single Heat defender here, Sam. They're just deny. They're in complete deny mode because Jaylen Brown picked up the ball and now he's in the middle of nowhere with nowhere to go, right? Make a quicker decision. And that's not a problem. So again, it's just a beat too slow or picking the ball up / getting off his feet too early. And these last two are very similar. And I need to preface this. And I literally thought of you while I was writing this. This play is a good shot for Jaylen Brown. That is a great shot for Jaylen Brown. Yeah. I didn't put this in here. It was a mid-range look for those on the audio. I didn't put this in here to ward off the mid-range game, but instead to get you to focus on this. Jaylen Brown gets the ball to wing. All eyes go to him, whatever. He has the ball. As soon as RJ jumps, watch the defense. Julius Randle leaves Jason Tatum at the three-point line, trying to guard Jaylen Brown's mid-range / drive game.
And if you look closely, you can see Smart pointing at Tatum.
Yep. Yeah, saying kick it out. And you know what? As much as this was a good shot, he could have kicked it out. And maybe it's a better one. Whatever. I'm again not here to complain about the shot. I'm here to say, there are literally 4 defenders now committed to Jaylen Brown. Malcolm Brogdon, wide open in the corner for a 3. Jason Tatum, wide open at the top of the key for a 3. Isaiah Hartenstein completely leaking off Marcus Smart in the corner. That's an impossible pass, but again, open for a 3. There are 4 Knicks defenders now so focused because Jaylen Brown is so good at getting to the rim and his mid-range spot that they worry about that. And again, this is a good shot for Jaylen Brown. You also see all the defenders start to bail out for a 3 because those are the analytically sound looks, and that's how they're taught to defend. And so that's why I'm not going to complain about Jaylen Brown's mid-range shot that much because he was one of the best in the league at the mid-range shot. That said,
60%.
Exactly. That said, Jaylen Brown, as I put at the top of this, is so capable of creating space for himself that he needs to leverage that to create space for others. And that was an example of this. That is also what this next one is. And again, I mean, you can see it here. Watch the entire defense focus on him. Mo Wagner switches off. Kevon Harris switches off Marcus Smart at the top of the key. Like all these guys sink in to guard Jaylen Brown at the drive. And this is less of a good shot. Jaylen Brown fades away over 2 guys. It's not terrible, but he could have kicked this to Derek White or Marcus Smart for a 3. That's the point.
There's also not that much time left.
Yeah, true. There's 2 seconds on the clock, but still, the point is he's creating a lot of space. These are all smart passes he made. We can go over the clips, but I assume Sam is done. My point is,
I do think after you're done, go ahead.
Yeah, my point is, Jaylen Brown is such a great scorer. He is one of the best scorers in the NBA. He is one of the most efficient scorers in the league, minus 3-point shot. I'm talking overall efficiency. In terms of field goal percentage, he is efficient for the looks he takes. He needs the next step in his game is using that space creation to open up looks for others. And I think Tatum's done a great job of that. And I truly believe if Jaylen Brown can do that, he will jump from a primary shot taker and partial offensive hub. He needs to jump from primary shot taker to partial offensive hub, which is what Tatum has effectively become. And at that point, I think you'll see last year was talked about Tatum in the bench lineups. Great. Brown in the bench lineups. Bad because Tatum can play make. Jaylen Brown can take that step. I think that $300 million price tag will go from a necessary overpay to a bargain contract because that will open up so many opportunities for him and the Celtics offense. Because not only will his assist numbers go up, which by the way, Jaylen Brown was 4th or 5th on the team in total passes last season. The amount of passes he's getting, he probably should, out the ball a bit. But if he can leverage those shots, it'll not only open up the game for him and the Celtics offense, but defenses can't just sell out to guard him because they know he can make the pass. I just think that's truly the next step he needs to make, or if he wants to take the step, and if the Celtics want to take the next step, that is the thing I think that will elevate his game to the next level. And so I wrote about it.
The only thing I really have to add is specifically looking back to the mid-range play where he gets the good look against the Knicks. I think there's something to be said about not overthinking things either. While could they have gotten a great shot instead of a quote-unquote good shot? Sure. But at the same time, once you start to overthink, your game starts to tense up. He's not going to be as comfortable, which is growing pains. If he's truly always looking for that extra pass, then it's great. And I think the ultimate goal is for it to become such second nature so he doesn't have to overthink.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't want to see him passing up looks that are good looks necessarily. I just don't want to see it. I want to see him getting comfortable shots and being the best he can be. But getting the teammates involved is mighty important. To your point, those Brown and the bench lineups need to be better. It's true.
Yeah. And again, I didn't include that clip for the sake of saying he should have passed it. I included it for the sake of look how much space he creates. Like Julius Randle leaped off of Jason Tatum to guard Jaylen Brown in the mid-range. Like that's a big sellout. So that's what I wanted to include. The next one of the last things we have for Celtic stuff. Evan Turner went on the JJ Redick pod with Andre Iguodala. They have a podcast called Point Forward. They were on the Old Man 3 with JJ Redick and Tommy Alter, just getting the aggregation out there. And he talked about culture, right? JJ Redick was asked, what's the best culture you guys have been a part of? Blah, blah, blah. He said, Andre Iguodala, you don't have to answer this because it's probably the Warriors or the Heat or one of those two. Like, no shit. And Evan Turner said it was Brad Stevens' culture. Basically, he talked about Brad made it easy to feel important regardless of the role you were playing. So no matter if you're getting 30 shots, like even when players were saying like, oh, I want more looks, I want to do this, I need to get more involved. Like Brad made it easy for everyone to feel important in the offense. Evan Turner also mentioned, Rondo was his favorite player to play with. He also told a story about how like they were talking about like rookie hazing. Evan Turner mentioned like some of the Rondo would kick the balls into the stands for the rookies to get, but Brad Stevens went to pick up the balls instead and said like, we're not doing that. And so talked about Brad Stevens' culture, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I just thought it was interesting. We don't have to spend a ton of time on it, but I thought it was cool to see, people like Brad Stevens' culture.
I think that Evan Turner's excellent. I love Evan Turner. Evan Turner was one of my first favorite players as like a true, like fully immersed fan. He was like one of the connecting team favorites for me.
Yep.
And he also told an awesome story about somebody driving a car into his pool while he was on the Trailblazers at the end of that pod.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, go listen to it. It's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's great. He has a great personality. I always thought Brad Stevens was a great Celtics coach. Still do. Don't really think the shortcomings towards the end of his tenure were his fault. And I thought he got a lot of unnecessary blame for that.
Yep.
I do think it's interesting how Rondo was only there for half a season with Evan Turner, and he was somebody that left such a great impact on him.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought the Turner and Andre Iguodala appearance on Redick was great.
Really
I
good.
thought that Evan Turner was kind of funny in the sense that he really did have an interesting perspective on the NBA. I've been bringing it up a lot lately. These guys go their whole life as the best player, and then they're not necessarily given the chance to try and be the best player in the NBA, and they have to take on a smaller role, and that's difficult for them. He talked about joining the Sixers, and when he joined the Sixers, they were in trust the process mode for at least a little bit, and then he left and joined the Celtics, but he wasn't given an opportunity to actually be the best Evan Turner that he could be, and that's not necessarily fair to him. So I do truly wonder, after that appearance, how many NBA players could have really thrived in a different situation? It was a Reddit post of the day a couple pods ago. But Evan Turner, I think, was better than people gave him credit for. That's my long-winded like Evan Turner take. He gave me a lot of fun memories in that like 2014 to 2016 range. He had some cool playoff moments, put Jeff Teague on his ass in a playoff game, and I loved his mid-range shots. So that was one of my favorite things to learn how to do, is shoot mid-range because of Evan Turner.
There you go. Yeah, I agree. I love Evan Turner. All right, do you want to talk about this stuff or do you want to bump it?
Bump it.
All right.
Put it in the private
bump
chat
it.
if you had any awareness.
I didn't. I was talking. Deal with it. All right.
Jack's awareness rating 45.
Motherfucker, I was talking. The amount of time, no. The amount of times we're on a podcast, I say something, Sam's on his phone, and then Sam says the same thing or questions it 10 seconds later.
Luke
you
Cornett
guys can start a
would
list
still
in
be
the
on
comments.
the team earlier this one. Yeah.
The other day, you were saying something like, "Oh, did you put Victor Oladipo in that trade?" I said, "Yep, Sam. I just talked about it 2 seconds ago."
Sometimes I'm actually like looking for content on my phone, though. In fairness to me,
awareness
or like
rating.
I'm checking in on something.
Talking about my awareness rating, this guy. But speaking of Damian Lillard, let's jump right back into it. Let's go. I will say, as much as we've complained about talking about Damian Lillard, it does feel like there's actual substance to the stuff that's actually happening now. So I don't mind it as much now that we actually have something to talk about.
And that's because we actually want it to mean something now, because it's not going to the Heat. The recent
it's
stuff
almost
has
over.
not been Dame to the Heat.
It's been the opposite, actually.
Yeah.
Dame to the Raptors.
Maybe Dame to the Raptors.
This is from Michael Grange of Sportsnet, which is a Canadian sports media company. By all accounts, the Raptors seem at least reasonably confident they can maneuver their way to the front line past the Miami Heat, Lillard's preferred destination, and ahead of a team such as the Nets who have draft picks to get something done if Portland is open, taking on the last 2 years of Ben Simmons' contract. Let's see. There was more stuff. I just want to find it before I move on.
Sure.
Dame
on the Raptors.
There was something else.
Get ready to learn French Canadian.
I thought there was something else about the Raptors. Something about the Raptors like slowly becoming a favorite for the team. Mark J. Spears said during an appearance on NBA Today, Mark Spears reported that multiple general managers around the league don't expect the guard to be on the Trailblazers by Monday's media day. Also said the Bucks have talked to Portland about a Dame trade. It's heating up, man. It's heating up.
This is what I feel about the media day take from the GMs. I think that's more of an educated guess than an actual we've heard stuff. Just because I think any team wants to get him in there and to get their roster set ASAP, including the Trailblazers. I think the Trailblazers, to an extent, would like to get things squared away so they can try to Scoot. Scoot can be the story. They can focus on Anthony Simons and Shady and Sharp and other exciting things that they have to pitch to their fans instead of, oh, is Dame pissed off? Because I don't think the PR team for Portland is going to want to have to deal with all this Dame stuff, all the Dame questions.
Well, Keith Smith of Spot Track even reported like Portland hasn't officially signed their training camp players because they don't know who's going like if they're going to have an influx of guys. So like they're really waiting on this. Yeah.
I also don't think Portland's going to just roll over though. It's gone this long. Maybe they will. I hope that I'm not wrong though. I don't want to see them just take like pennies.
I hope
on
they
the
roll
dollar.
over and take the Jazz's like offer or something, like just take a really
then it would be respect. But if they do it for Miami, then no. Like bad for the NBA, and Adam Silver needs to step in and veto it. David Stern, shades of David Stern. Good for him.
Yeah.
But I do truly think it's bad for the NBA if the Blazers get nothing worth value and Dame gets his way. And that's not from a bias standpoint. I think if Miami had a good package to offer, where I do think Tyler Hero is a good piece. And just to circle all the way back to the beginning of the show when we were like, Celtics give up Brogdon and get Dame. It doesn't make a ton of sense for the Trailblazers to be floored by that. The difference is the amount of draft picks that the Celtics can offer. Just to clarify, Miami doesn't really have that many draft picks. They don't have a ton of assets besides Tyler Hero. And I don't think Portland wants either Hero or Brogdon because they already have too many guards. That's why the Dame trade is a real thing. Like you can move off Dame and you can have Scoot, you can have Simons, you can have Shady and Sharp. That can be your 1 through 3, and you can have a lot of fun with your young team. You don't need to bring in a Brogdon or a Tyler Hero to shake things up and throw another cog in the machine. It just doesn't make sense at this point for them.
Yeah, I agree. Bucks offer is weird. I wonder what they could actually give up. Like it would have to be Drew Holiday, which is
it would have to be
very
Middleton?
weird. I don't think they can trade Middleton or Lopez though because
they
they just
just
re-signed
signed
him. That's what I'm saying. So I think it would
Drew
have to
Holiday's
be
the same
Holiday.
thing. Like, why do they want him at this point? Like, they don't.
Maybe
need him.
they don't need him, but maybe they're interested in like
flipping.
It doesn't make sense because they don't even have picks. The Bucks don't have picks. The Bucks don't make sense. There's still the Heat people saying, "Oh, Dame could be asked to trade to Heat if he gets there." Blah blah blah. That stuff. Then again, Chris Haynes. Maybe Chris Haynes gets on your good list.
I haven't heard Chris Haynes in a while.
Bleacher Report's Chris Haynes said Portland is "quote unquote" refusing to engage with the Heat in any trade discussions. So, do we like? Chris
I
Haynes
did see
again?
this. That's kind of funny. I don't know what to believe at this point. There's so many conflicting reports. I'm on the Heat subreddit because I was doing Heat coverage for a little bit for Heavy. So I joined, like, I wanted to see all their stuff. And, like, their fans are like, well, Dame's cousin's, like, tweeting this. Like, they're really trying to convince themselves they're getting Dame, and they might. Well, they're definitely favorites to get him.
I wonder if Chris Haynes saying that is Damian Lillard mouthpiece saying, oh, they're not doing it. They won't do, like, why are they refusing? This is crap. But him saying that just got everyone to be like, yeah, good. And he, like, backfired on him.
Yeah, like, the Blazers are like, It's the meme of Homelander where you know what I'm talking about, right? Have you
All
seen
right.
The Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
seen it, but I know the meme.
Yeah. He's like thinks he's gonna get shit on, and then he's like everyone's like
All
cheering
right.
for him. Yeah, that's what it is. Except it's kind of not that at the same time.
Definitely. The other weird part about this is from Ethan J. Skolnick of 5 Reasons Sports. The Miami Heat believe they could win the East with their current roster and will not act, quote, desperate for Damian Lillard. And then King of the Fourth Quarter is a YouTuber who I grew up watching.
Mm-hmm.
The Heat had it. He basically said like the Heat had like the worst offseason. Like, why? What do you mean?
Yeah,
And
they've had a poor offseason so far.
I agree. And Dame could fix it, but if they don't get Dame, like Jay Rich and Thomas Bryant are good additions, but they lost Max Strus. They lost Gabe Vincent. Those were 2 like pivotal pieces in their run to the finals, and they're just gone for nothing. Like that's
I will say,
L.
Josh Richardson, good addition. Good game.
I agree.
Even.
Sure, but it not a perfect one. And so it's just I don't know.
He's strong in other areas. I think he can defend more positions.
I suppose. But in terms of if you had started this offseason and said the Heat lose these 2 players, that's like the worst possible thing that could happen for nothing, right? Like realistically. True. So not good there. We'll see what happens. I'm ready for the Dame stuff to be over. But anyways, Mark Stein,
speaking of trades.
Yeah, right. Mark Stein of the Stein Line, longtime NBA insider, basically said a Buddy Hield trade could be more difficult than people perceive. He said that teams are worried about Hield's free agency next summer, and they might not be willing to give up more than just second-round picks in addition to matching salary. So I get it. It makes sense because the teams that are interested in Hield are probably also teams that probably can't afford to pay him next summer. So that's where it is. But if I'm the Pacers, I also want a first-round pick because Buddy Hield's a damn good player. So it's a weird situation. But
I think the Hield thing is weird. I get why Portland's looking to offload him, right? Because if they don't plan on paying him, then you might as well get something for him. Yeah, that's fine. And
yeah, I wrote something this sheet. Sam and I have a Google Doc, so sometimes I'll just talk to each other in the sheet.
Yeah,
continue. Sorry.
There's like a reason to offload him. It's the classic, like 1 year left. Like, let's get something so he doesn't leave in free agency. I wonder what Hield's free agent market is. I do think there are teams that are on the rise that could be interested in giving him a contract similar to the one he's on now. See San Antonio. I don't really know if anyone is willing to trade for him, though. It's a good point. Like, we talked about the Celtics maybe doing it, and yeah, it would be cool, but you would have to give up stuff for him. And do you really want to do that? Like, personally, Buddy Hield, cool buyout guy. That's what I think. I don't think you're willing to give up a lot for him. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I agree. I think, but
I think he does himself a favor by staying with the Pacers, though. Like, he had a good season for the Pacers last year. Tyrese is setting guys up like it is his day job, and he's excellent at it. Like, you're going to get so many great looks from Tyrese, similar to what you would get with the Celtics, where Brogdon and Horford are in the league's top shooters.
And they're going to be good soon.
They're playing in an offense like that.
They'll be good soon, too, I think. I think they'll be a playoff team in the next few years.
They were a playoff team last year before Tyrese got hurt.
Yeah, they could be good. I agree. We'll see. He didn't like their extension offer. We'll see what happens. And not that he's exactly replaceable because you can't replace that three-point shooting, but they got Andrew Nembhard. They've got Aaron Nesmith. They've got wings. They've got guys ready to step in. So we'll see what happens there. It's definitely weird. The last thing before we get into the rat list is Mr. James Harden still wants to go to the Clippers. I believe this is from Mark J. Spears as well. Or excuse me, sorry. I'm sourcing everybody. This is from Yahoo Sports, Jake Fisher, friend of the pod. The 10-time All-Star, quote unquote, still hopes to be traded to the LA Clippers. Following reports I remember the other week saying the Clippers have moved on. So the whole Harden thing has like calmed down a little bit or like quieted down. Like we haven't heard much about it because the Dame stuff. Still super weird. Still don't know what's going to happen with that because like he clearly doesn't want to be there, but it feels like Daryl Morey is just kind of trying to sweep it under the rug and figure it out. I feel like that's not going to happen very well.
Well, you have a choice. If you're James Harden, you either play for the Sixers or don't play basketball. And as funny as it sounds, like James Harden, not somebody I'd be shocked if they're like, okay, I won't play basketball. It's not like Dame, where Dame's like a real like love of the game guy. Like we've seen Harden pretend to be fat before or get fat on purpose.
KD went back to work last
Yeah,
year.
I mean, KD's like the same guy. Like he loves basketball. Like
That's what I'm saying. He's like, dang.
I wonder what KD's post-playing career is going to be like because I don't think he can give up playing or being around the game that easy. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets on a staff somewhere or does TV.
I think he pulls a Reddick. I think he just does his own thing. Doesn't want to be connected.
Yeah, maybe.
He just does his podcast. He has his own podcast.
He already does have a podcast.
I think he'll just continue that.
But back to Harden. He's not going to get traded to the Clippers. If you're the Clippers, why would you go get Harden? You already have two guys that are kind of unreliable from a playing standpoint. Why would you go get another one where James Harden's not only like unreliable, does he actually want to play, but also he might get hurt, that too? I don't think Philly's going to get a return they want for him. And I don't think anybody feels bad for him because he opted into his contract and requested a trade right away.
It's true.
The NBA needs to do something about this. Like, I understand there is maybe they promised him something, but if it's not in writing, I don't really know what to tell you. I don't know. It's also like, weird. Yes, you should keep your word, and I'm a big loyalty person myself, but I don't know. Like, opting into a contract only to request a trade is like the dumbest thing ever.
Well, I think he opted into the contract because I think he requested a trade before. And I'm not going to side with James Harden here. If you want my opinion on what happened, James Harden probably went to Daryl Morey and said, "Hey, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go to the Clippers." And I'm not going to say
have you guys get something for me.
Sure, maybe he was like either would you like me to opt in? And this is obviously erring on the side of James Harden. What could have happened is he said, "I want to get paid, trade me there," and that's what happened. But it also could have been like, "Hey, if I opt in, you can get something for me. Do you want me to do that?" And Daryl Morey's like, "Yeah, fine, we'll find something." And then he didn't, and so then James Harden was pissed, which is like, duh. Like I would have just like he was like, "I would have opted out if you had just said we're not going to trade you," like, and then I would have just left on my own. So like maybe it's that, but at the same time, like, is James Harden going to turn down that money? I don't know. Like he would have taken a pay cut, maybe. I don't know. It's all weird at that point, but we can move on. I hope it ends before.
If you want more Harden / player movement talk, go listen to Bill Simmons talk to Howard Beck. It was excellent. Just make sure you finish this pod first. But it was excellent. It was really cool to hear them kind of chat about it.
Definitely.
Next
all right,
thing,
Sam.
Reddit time.
Today. Hit it.
This comes from the NBA community, as they always do. The question: what would be the craziest possible run over the next 3 or 4 seasons, 2024 to 2027, that would change narratives surrounding players? What could realistically happen in the next 3 years of the NBA so that the public changes perspective on specific major teams or players? For example, how would the narrative around KD's career change if he goes to 3 straight finals with the Suns and wins 2 rings? He would now have 4 rings with 2 different teams. I think he'd jump. This is the Reddit post. I think he'd jump into most people's top 10 lists. What if Steph Curry wins 2 more titles, 1 MVP, and then just retires? Would he enter the GOAT conversation? He'd have 6 titles, 1 MVP, or 3 MVPs, I think. The craziest to me, also the Reddit post, would be LeBron joining a random team like the Nets, Kings, Sixers, or Knicks to follow Bronny and wins a championship there as the 3rd best player at 40 or 41 years old. What are some of your crazy predictions for the next 3 years?
That's a really good question.
Off the page to you, Jack? Anything you have in mind?
Well, my brain immediately just went Celtics because that's how it works. Like,
what if Tatum they just dominated?
Yeah, well, Tatum would, if let's say the Celtics win next year, right? He'd go from Carmelo Anthony to Paul Pierce, right? Like immediately, probably maybe even better than Paul Pierce. And if they win multiple, he goes from that to in the conversation of like if they win 3 championships, he immediately jumps like over guys like Giannis and Jokic immediately. And so
if they win 3, he starts to enter the article I did, the Mount Rushmore.
Exactly.
Is he above Havlicek now? Which a lot of the commenters, a lot of respect for Havlicek. I know we talked about it on the show, and it was more of a debate because we're younger people. But the old heads, a lot of respect for 17.
Good.
But then he kind of gets himself on the level of Bird. Like Bird won 3 titles with the Celtics, won the 3 straight MVPs. Like, of course, he was like a big time, like just figure in Boston. Change the game, whatever. Tatum winning 3 straight rings would be kind of crazy. Now that is an extreme. And I know you mentioned the possibility of just 1. But even if he wins 1, I think a lot of people are going to respect it. The NBA is super saturated with talent right now, where we're talking about they need to expand. Because last pod, we were like, well, I was like, well, what if the Blazers make the playoffs? And then we went through it and it was like, well, they kind of impossible. Like can't,
Yeah.
not possible. Top comment, Ben Simmons leads a young Nets team to a deep playoff run in 3 straight seasons. That is a good one though. Like people be like, oh yeah, Ben Simmons is back.
It's good.
Another person just crossed out like the back end of that. It was just like Ben Simmons leads.
It's true. I think
Right?
Clippers winning. If Kawhi wins a title and a Finals MVP with the Clippers, that's 3 different titles, 3 different MVPs with 3 different organizations. Like that's what people talked about when he joined LA. So if that can
It's
happen,
true.
and he jumps into top 10 all time.
Now everyone's like, that guy doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore. Also,
Exactly.
happy anniversary of the Kawhi laugh. It was yesterday, 5 years.
Oh, there we go. Also on top, if
Uh-huh.
Clippers win also, Russ gets a ring. Changes a lot of discourse around Russ. I know you don't like him. I don't mind Russ. That's interesting.
I just feel inclined to dislike Russ. Like I have really no reason to dislike him, and it's kind of not fair. I don't know why. I have a hard time rooting for him.
You know, if the Celtics don't win a ring, the narrative I want to see is Marcus Smart wins the ring and proves all the idiots wrong.
Finals MVP.
Yeah, fine. Great.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect.
3 in a row. Does
Whoa,
Marcus
whoa,
Smart
whoa,
enter the
whoa.
GOAT conversation?
Whoa. Maybe the Celtics get one in there.
Well, no, you said if they don't win one.
Sure, if the Celtics don't win, you want the Grizzlies to win. I agree.
Good comment. This comes from D Kong 86. Charlotte Hornets go 3 straight seasons without a single suspension. Thoughts? Big turnaround for the. What was MJ the problem? Does this hurt MJ's legacy? Like
Hornets
sells the team, players start to behave.
Hornets try not to get suspended. Challenge. Parentheses. Impossible.
Somebody said Timberwolves win the West. Somebody said Poole dragging the Wizards, crying and screaming to the NBA Finals.
Not the finals, but low-key, if Poole does well and Washington like is efficient, all this stuff, like you really question, was Poole the problem or were the vets really just like secluded?
That's the second half of this. Like it would make the Warriors look like clowns a little bit. Somebody commented about Kawhi. That was a good call by you.
Chris Paul
Embiid beating Jokic in the finals.
True. Chris Paul gets the ring.
Somebody replied, that's a good one. Somebody replied to the Embiid guy. Whoa, hold on there, Cowboy. Let's start small with Embiid making the conference finals.
This is true. This is true.
The Kings championship. 73 years.
Yeah. I mean, if Giannis wins another one, he is bordering top 15 conversation.
All right, get the rat on the screen.
Same for Jokic. All right.
I think that was one of my favorite Reddit posts, though. I think that was
a really good one. I like that one. Let's start with the rat list. Would you like to lead us off here, sir?
You have more than me. You go first.
All right, well, I'm going to start with something that's not on here, and it's not a rat list, so we're going to do it quick. And I'm going to preface this with Sam. If you don't like what I'm going to talk about, you're not allowed to be an asshole, and you're allowed to just let me talk about it. I don't want you. I want you to let me finish. Because
I'll let you finish, but I might be an asshole. That's a compromise.
I want to talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
That's on my rat list.
Is it? No, I don't look at your fucking rat list. I want to be surprised. Yeah, you're a rat for that. You're a rat. You're the rat for disliking. I will
rat court. Rat court then. Rat court. Tell us in the comments.
And let me explain.
You go first.
The Taylor Swifties who are all like, there was a post on Twitter today that was like a Taylor Swift fan account explaining how football works, and somebody saying like, "What's a down?" Like that's a
I saw
that
that.
Is
somebody
that is
this
rat
today.
list. That is rat list. Travis Kelce, did you hear the story about what he did? Like I like Taylor Swift, right?
No,
I don't have a problem with
go
it. I think your problem is not her; it is the fandom and the obsession, which I get it, right? It's a lot, right?
Yeah,
I like Taylor.
I did not hear the Kelce thing. Go ahead.
Sure, Travis Kelce, he has a podcast, New Heights. Great fucking podcast. It's great. Him and his brother Jason Kelce. He went to one of her concerts, and apparently Taylor Swift doesn't like talk before or after the concerts. Yes, and he brought a bracelet because it's like a thing, a Taylor Swift thing to make bracelets, and he put his number on the bracelet. Just like it's a goat, like he's a beast, right? Like having the balls to go to a Taylor Swift concert, arguably the most famous woman on the planet, right? Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I'm not Travis Kelce, but arguably the most famous woman on the planet. Stop.
Good one.
Most famous woman on the planet, and he just like brings a bracelet to give her a number, right? Eventually, he basically said somewhere else, like said on the Pat McAfee show, like, "Hey, I threw the ball. It's in her court now. She came to Arrowhead Stadium and dominated. She should come see how I rock Arrowhead." And then not only does she go to the game, she goes to the game with his mom, right? Like that's just like Travis Kelce's a beast. He's now dating whatever you want to say, the most famous woman on the planet. I just think the story's cool. And on top of that, I saw a Twitter post that said Travis Kelce has 4 outcomes here, and I respect the balls. He either becomes hated by every woman in America or absolute glory, and there's no in between. And I don't care about like, oh, who is Taylor Swift dating, whatever. I just like Travis Kelce, and I think it's fun that 2 like very notable people, and like I listen to his podcast and like I follow him because him and his brother are funny. So I've like listened to this and I've heard him like when it initially started. So to see it come here, it's just like, I mean, I texted my buddy Danny, and I was like, guess what? You know, Travis Kelce's the GOAT. And he goes, what, is Taylor Swift at the game? And I said, no, she's at the game with his mom. And he goes, nah, with the mom. That's crazy. And I just think it's an entertaining saga, and I've been entertained by it. And I'll let you do whatever you want.
Sure.
Now, whatever.
Okay. So I'll start off. Travis Kelce could have went to a lot of concerts and given the bracelet to other people that might be more attractive than Taylor Swift. I don't get the Taylor Swift like obsession. So you were right about that. I don't get it. Like power rankings of people I would go to a concert and give a friendship bracelet to doesn't make the list. I'm not going to list them all, but probably doesn't make the list. Okay.
People have other opinions. Like, I'm just letting you know that
No,
people are entitled to their
people
opinion.
have different tastes.
Your opinion. You're not the sun. World doesn't revolve around you, but continue.
No, I'm an only child, so it's all calm down.
I'm aware, and you're right.
Everybody could probably just tell. I don't know. I don't get it. I think she just looks normal. I have like a lot of people I think that just look normal that like people are obsessed with, and that's fine. I'm
not saying she's like. I don't care about it in the sense that like, oh, I think she's the most attractive woman on the planet, but she is like the most famous woman in the world. No, he was just true. Like, let me make her a fucking bracelet.
I'm essentially being an asshole on purpose.
I'm aware, and that's why I literally, before you left, I pasted in the sheet and I deleted it because I didn't want you to ruin it before I put it on here. I said I want to talk about Travis Kelce. Parentheses, Sam, you're not allowed to be an asshole. Let me talk about it. That I had it.
Let you talk.
I got rid of it.
This is compromise.
Sure.
I also One, I'm sick of seeing her everywhere. That's on the sheet. I'm kind of just sick of like the obsession with her universally. It's not even a hater thing. It's just like, I don't get it. Like,
it is a hater thing, but continue.
I also don't like Travis Kelce. Think he's annoying.
Really?
He has Tyler Hero syndrome.
Nah, I disagree with you.
Go back and listen to a Travis Kelce college interview. And then perhaps listen to him talk now. Might sound a little different.
Maybe. I don't know. I disagree with that. But I understand what you're saying.
There's a little Tyler Hero in him. That's all. He does not the fashion sense, just the dialect. A little different. But yeah, I don't know. It was all over Twitter. And I don't like when my Twitter becomes things that aren't what I want to see.
Sam
that's always
doesn't like things that other people like.
That's
period.
True. Yeah, I don't like Christmas.
Anything that the general public enjoys, Sam hates on it. Mostly, I'm just gonna say this, mostly for the sake of hating. It's to be honest here, you for the sake of being a dick, you just don't like stuff that other people like.
Little tease,
and that's okay. But
little tease, little hater Celtics blog article coming.
Yeah,
I don't know how soon it's coming because it might take a while. It's on the way.
All right.
In development, just like the Office reboot that's reportedly in the development. Same thing.
I will say though, I will rat list the Swifties who are like now just like liking football. Like there was another one. It was a picture of Taylor Swift from like the box of the Chiefs game, and there was a piece of like a chicken tender on a plate with like ketchup and ranch, and somebody tweeted out like a Taylor Swift account update: Taylor Swift's eating chicken with ranch and ketchup, and somebody responded, "Thank you. I'm so glad someone has normalized using ranch with meat." I'm like, what do we do? Like what is
that's a normal thing. People have chicken bacon ranch pizza.
They're like normalized.
When you order wings, they're like, do you want blue cheese or ranch? It's like the first thing they ask you.
They were like, hold on, let me find it.
I do suppose it is like a salad dressing and like people dip like vegetable platters in it. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it was like, thank you for someone. I found the original post. And
let us know in the comments. In or out on Taylor Swift.
The official. you can't be out on Taylor Swift. You can be out on
What do
the
you mean
obsession
can't
with
be
her.
out? I can be out. I can do whatever I want.
Stop. Because your problem's not with her as a person. Your problem was the people obsessed with her. What the fuck? She didn't do anything. What are you going to be mad at her for?
All right.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I can be out if I want to.
You got to stop
you're
yelling
right. I don't
before
really
you
have
let
a
me talk.
reason.
Exactly.
I'm misattributing the out.
Exactly. Fuck. Let me fucking talk, dick. What I was gonna say is on the original post of Taylor Swift the Ranch, the official KFC account responded, "Our ranch queen," and it's just, like, what? I get it. It's like she didn't do anything. She's just making her money and doing her thing. But like, what the fuck? That stuff is over my head and too far for me. But anyways, all right, go ahead with Rat List. I'll let you go.
Well, you got more than me. Just keep going because we both kind of
Okay.
started off on that one.
Okay. I will rat list it, and this is, I guess I could have put this in the NBA section. Rat list the Miami Heat writers. There was someone.
This is my favorite of your bunch,
dude. I forget who it was today. He was like, "Oh, like why are why it's so bizarre why the Blazers don't want to react with the Heat." Like a totally unironic tweet, like. No fucking shit. They don't want to work with the Heat because the Heat and Damian Lillard have cornered the market to where the Blazers aren't going to get a fair return. As much as I'll sit here and say players should be allowed to request this team, this should be allowed. I'm like, no fuck. Of course the Blazers are going to be mad at you. Like what? Like it's the complete oblivion. And like, and again, Matt Moore of Action Network has put it like perfectly time and time again. Like Heat fans can be allowed to be excited for Dame. They can be hyped and they can want Dame and they can be okay with it. But they also have to acknowledge the fact that the Heat have completely cornered the market and they're going to get him for cheap or a relatively low price to whatever they could get elsewhere because no other teams want to trade for him because he only wants to go to one place. And you can acknowledge that and you can be fine with it. And it's fine. And it's fine to be excited about a good player in your favorite team. But especially the media who are like, why aren't they like doing this with the shut up, stop, cut the shit. I'm over it because I see it all the time and it's like the most brain dead take I can ever imagine.
It's a victim complex thing.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's
weird.
And I hate it. Yeah. It's Rat List.
So I'll start with a small one. Rat List, kind of. My Tatums. My Tatums have perished. Not really, but they have ripped.
Did you wear them last night? Oh.
I did.
Okay.
So my Tatums are still wearable, still serviceable. But if you have Tatums, Jack has them. There is on the outside of the shoe a mesh layer, and then there is the actual layer. But my mesh layer has torn across the side. I've gotten great use out of the Tatums. This is not a knock on the product. I personally love the product. Didn't think I'd like it. Was very out on it at the beginning because that was all Tatum cared about. But really like the sneakers. Probably going to get another pair. Mom's going to be pissed. But yeah, Jack has on the screen. So right above the beige part of the shoe, I have a tear.
Like right here?
No, towards like the midsection of the foot.
Right here under the laces.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah, it's sad. I looked down. I was like, damn.
I think the shoe's weird because there's this weird like gap underneath. Like there's some string, but there's like weird gap underneath here.
I think it helps me dunk, dude. Jump higher.
Maybe. I like them. They're fine. I was out on them the first time I wore them, but I've grown to. I think it's because it was the first time I wore them. I wear them every time.
Colorways. Maybe I'll get the black, green, and orange ones.
I think I have the worst colorway, but it's
you do have the worst colorway. It is a fact.
I don't like red. I only got it so we didn't have the same exact one because like I figured, let's each order one. But
Worth has the best colors. He's got the pink ones.
Pink lemonade is the best one. Yeah, I agree. Those are dope.
But yeah, small sad rat list.
Yeah. I'll rat list
list.
I'll rat list the Miami Dolphins. Because
rat list Miami for you, Jack.
Yeah. Miami out of Miami today. Our Sam's friend, but the guy Ray.
I was with him. I was with him when it was happening.
Dude, I was so mad. So Ray, who I played in fantasy this week, I gotta find it now. Shit, I'm clicking the wrong.
He's a diehard Dolphins fan. To preface this, so he has Raheem Mostert playing. He had
Tyreek Hill and Deebo Samuel even on the Niners. And so those players alone, 45 points for Mostert, 30 points for Hill, 25 points for Samuel. What is that? Let me do quick math. 70. That's 100 points. They beat my whole team by themselves. They beat my team by themselves. Done. Like there was nothing I could do. And so I was mad at the Dolphins. Ratless the Dolphins. Also, ratless Derrick Henry. I traded for him this week, and he was dog shit. So,
you're an idiot for doing that.
Why? I like the trade. I stand by the trade. But
Derrick Henry might be washed.
Continue.
I don't
Derrick
know.
had a
This isn't a
phenomenal
football
first 2 weeks.
podcast. I admittedly
Yeah.
don't know what I'm talking about.
Next one.
Next one. Okay. So this weekend, I mentioned it on the last show. I did go to a wedding, and I kind of forgot about this rat list until now. So I go to the bathroom at this wedding venue, nice venue, bathroom, lovely bathroom. Bathroom has 3 urinals. As you walk in, you see all 3 of them.
Oh, I think I know. where it's going.
Enter the restroom. There's one man in the bathroom, and he is peeing in the middle urinal. Rat move. I'm not going to go pee next to you. So I just went in one of the stalls and peed and then moved on. But I mean,
that's a rat move.
What's the point of that? You dominating the urinals?
You got to follow a system.
You got to
There's a
leave
system.
room for other people. That's terrible.
Agreed.
That should be a fine.
That's lack of etiquette there. I agree.
Yeah.
Ratless, the stupid fucking ceiling in the gym we play basketball in. It is the lowest ceiling, and I have a pretty high arcing shot. And so I took like 4 threes the other day, and 3 of them hit the ceiling. And then it got to the point where I'm like trying to adjust my shot to not hit the ceiling. And at that point, I'm just fucking airballing because I'm adjusting my jump shot. Of course, I'm not going to shoot well because I'm not shooting the way I normally shoot. And so it was pissing me off all night. I literally, like I said at the start of the show, I didn't make a single shot. I hate that.
Great day for or great gym for line drivers like myself.
Yeah, I know. I was
or lower arcs. I wouldn't say line drive, but
Henry was practicing line drive shots in the warm up, and I ratless just fuck like being
Henry
fuck
is
off,
a little rat. Very physical. He's bumping into people.
Yes,
Matt was unhappy.
Yes.
He was none too pleased with Henry.
Yeah, Henry's an aggressive
Henry
motherfucker.
was like teetering on like might get banned. Not really, but
no. Henry listens to this. Henry, it's a joke. Henry listens to this. I go out in the kitchen, I watch him listen, so you better take that back because he'll hear this.
My final rat list.
Henry, you're not getting banned.
Do you have any more? I think this might be a closer.
I have 2 anti-rat lists, but they can be quick, and I'll let you close.
Fire them off.
Yeah, and I'm gonna re-emphasize because Henry does listen to this, and he will adjust his phicality. Henry, you're not getting banned. It's
just play, Henry. Just stay awake. Whatever it takes.
Anti-rat list, my high school buddy. I just got a random text today. He was like, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's up?" And I was like so taken aback because it's like 6 years I haven't talked to this guy. But like, shout out, Sousa texted me. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, it was just weird, but like fun because I hadn't heard from him. An anti-rat list KFC worker. So after ball, my sleep schedule is weird because I get up later than most people because and so I don't like eat breakfast, and so my first meal is like later, and so I don't have dinner before basketball, so I'm hungry when we go. And so Henry and I stop at KFC, and so we stop there. I got whatever tenders, whatever. KFC worker comes to the window. She goes, "We're closing, so I gave you extra tenders." Oh, clutch.
Yeah,
I was so hyped, and I ate that. It was so good. So shout out,
damn dude, shout out to the
KFC
Colonel.
worker. That's what I'm saying.
Dripped out with his little tied bow tie, his beard.
Saying, all right, I'll let you close the rat list.
So rat list, being fatigued and also brain dead. It's me. I'm on the rat list. So this morning I get up at 6, alarm goes off, get ready, go to the gym, pull into the gym. It's raining. I gather my water. And I get ready. I go in, grab my phone. I'm in the gym. I do sit down at the little rowing station. It's not the rowing machine. It's the one with the weights. That's how you get big. And I do my 5 sets of 10 on the rowing machine. And I go to move on. And I pick up my stuff. I grab my phone. I grab my water. And I'm like, damn, where are my keys? When I work out, I don't keep my keys in my pocket. I put them with the things that I put down. I'm like, oh, did I leave my keys in the car? So I exit the gym into the rain. I have to go back out there. It's cold. And I walk to my car. My car is on. I have left my car on in the parking lot, unlocked. And I mean, nothing came of it. But wow, that might be an all-time brain dead move for me. Just zombie autopilot walking. That is Monday morning encapsulated into a story. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah. That's a tough look.
I was just in disbelief. I was like, wow.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Well, if that's it for you, we can wrap it up there. Yeah, you can't leave your keys in your car. That's a tough one. But anyways,
you got to keep spare keys in your wallet. car key and also a house key in case.
I don't do that.
You
I have
always
an
have
Apple. I have an AirTag in my wallet, so I can find it. But that's about it. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in to How About Them Celtics. We appreciate you very much. Season is getting closer and closer, so come tune in and go to Playback. There's only like 2 of you over there, and we want to watch the games with you guys. So
we're gonna start plugging Playback like 3 or 4 times a show, dude. Just
I know.
Like, just hammer them.
If you want to watch games with us next season, go join our Playback. Just go follow it. How About Them Celtics on Playback?
It's going to be fun.
Go check it out.
We are going to Vegas, and if they're not there, we're gonna be pissed.
So we're gonna be
And
watching.
they should be there. Their group
intently.
sucks, and they should be able to win a knockout game to get to the semis.
Yes, I agree. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Check us out on Spotify and Apple. Leave us 5 stars and a review if you'd like, and leave a comment. That's my favorite part. Email us, comment, all that stuff if you'd like to get in touch with us. We appreciate it, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. If you're watching here on the YouTube, whether it's ours or CLNS's or CLNS's second one, you can subscribe. If you're on ours, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads or any breakers. We've had a couple of them in the last week and a half. Might have some more. We're going to do a breaker for a Dame trade? Only if it's here.
Only if it's the Celtics. Yeah, we won't do it.
Okay, fair. Oh, that would be a big view video.
You think?
Hope it doesn't happen.
10K.
But if you're listening, you're on Spotify or Apple, so make sure you follow us there so you get all of those to your feed on your phone. You can leave a nice 5-star review and say something nice about the pod. You can also find us on Playback. Do it. Join this little community, whatever it is. Join it because we're going to do streams. It's going to be fun. Maybe we'll do giveaways or something to get people in there. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Might have something to give away soon.
Yeah.
Tease. Also, you can find us on socials at How About Them Cs. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Facebook is just the name of the podcast. Twitter and Facebook getting content on the daily. I don't know what's going on the other two, but we're there. You can find Jack on Twitter at Jack's Money Bay. You can find me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Tic-tac-toe.